welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. That's right. Everyone's a fan of something, and we have something for every fan. Unless you're a fan of Fozzie, because he always disappears right after the intro starts playing. Where'd he go? Fozzie, come here. There we go. We have victory. Victory is mine. As Fozzie joins us against his will. But we love you. You're so cute. Look, talking to the microphone. Oh, what a weekend it was, folks. Like I said, everyone's a fan of something. We have something for every fan, including those of you that are fans of the Indoor Football League. It is that most bittersweet time of year because the regular season has come to a conclusion. An epic one at that, though. We're going to talk all about it. And now we will look ahead to the postseason, which will be about 1,000 times better than last year's postseason was. I'm not saying that Barnstormers being crowned champions was any kind of a negative thing at all. No, I mean, like, as far as the... he's gone. As far as the whole thing, okay, you had 4 teams, 3 really which deserved to be there, the other one not so much. But now you have 6 teams, all very well deserving of being in the postseason. And so... with that, we'll go ahead and we'll get through our headlines. We'll talk all about it. The question that I'd like to pose to all of you that are going to be tuning in is, which matchup are you looking forward to seeing this weekend, obviously? And then of the 4 teams playing in the first round, which one looks the most poised to go possibly to the championship? Of course, we know that there will be 2 teams that have a first round bye, and they will receive one of these 4 teams at home to determine a conference champion, and then, of course, to move on and advance to the championship. So with that, let's go ahead. Let's get through the headlines, and we're going to do this thing here. Headlines, of course, are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises, where they want to customize your world. They can make anything from business cards, stickers. They can do pens with your business stuff on them, your logo, your name, anything really. They can do T-shirts. They can do hoodies. They can do polos. They can do hats, beanies. You name it, they can do it, whether it's promotional, advertising, or whatever else you need, or personal even. They can do that for you. So make sure that you go and visit dynamiteenterprises.com to see what all they've done, and then if there's something that you want done that you don't see on there, reach out to Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com and say, hey, can you do this? And they're going to give it their best shot. And if you don't like it, if you aren't in love with it, they're going to fix it. They're going to make it right, because that is what Dynamite Enterprises does. So with that, then, make sure that you go and check out dynamiteenterprises.com, where they will customize your world. So here we go. Headlines today. We start out with the IFL, who Arizona completed their first undefeated season in team history and franchise history, which is really surprising to me. I thought they had done it before, but I guess they had not. A lot of people will question the legitimacy of their undefeated season given their somewhat easy schedule, but neither here nor there. They are undefeated for the first time in franchise history, for the regular season at least, pending the postseason now, in history. So good for them, good for Coach Kevin Guy and company. They now wait. They get a first-round bye. They are going to welcome the winner of, I believe, so, we'll get to that in a second, because I don't want to try to, the brain thing too early on a Tuesday. So Arizona finishes undefeated. They beat San Diego. They beat the Strike Force 57-16. Green Bay, this game really didn't matter to them whatsoever, because they had already punched their ticket to the postseason. They're going to host a home playoff game for the first time since 2012, but they made sure that all cylinders were firing at full capacity, and that was in a shutout performance over the Cedar Rapids River Kings, 47-0, and it was one of their outstanding defensive players of the week. That was a big contributing factor to that outcome, which we'll talk about later. The Danger upset Iowa. This was a bit of an eye-opener. Iowa really didn't have a whole lot of skin in this game, as they say, except if they would have won and Arizona would have lost, then had those two advanced to the United Bowl for the championship, I believe it would have been played in Iowa instead of Arizona. But either way, if Arizona advances to the United Bowl, it will be played in Arizona. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that right now, but they have to make it, obviously, to that point. And let's see. So that was the final score, 46-40. A very good performance by the Danger, and you want that going into the postseason, especially in a win-and-you're-in scenario. They had to win that game. They did win that game, which made things even more complicated for the last game of the night. But before that, the Storm, they hosted the Bucks, and they had a big win. 65-54 was the final score in that one. So the Storm look pretty good for the postseason right now. They're making a lot of signings. They're making a lot of moves. They're making a lot of noise as they get ready to host the winner of that last game here, which was the Tucson Sugar Skulls and the Quad City Steam Wheelers. If the Danger would have lost, then this could have gone one of a couple ways. But because the Danger win, now in order to advance to the postseason, one of these two teams had to win. It's no longer both of them are able to get in. So you have the Sugar Skulls and you have the Steam Wheelers. And it was a tough matchup. 55-50 was your final score in favor of the home team, which was the Tucson Sugar Skulls. So they will make their first postseason berth in their inaugural season as first-time members of any league, this being obviously the Indoor Football League. And there's Fozzie behind me. Obviously, he's not interested in what I have going on over here. So congrats to all the teams that have made the postseason, because it was a very competitive regular season, despite what some of the records may say. Bismarck, Cedar Rapids, and even San Diego, despite what their records say, they went the distance with a lot of these teams during the regular season. They played probably 59 out of the 60 minutes that you need to play in some matchups, but you can never look at your calendar and be like, oh, that's a gimme. I don't believe that there were any gimmies really this season. Even Arizona over San Diego, you never know what could happen in games like that. But it was a very competitive regular season. I applaud all the teams. It was a 10-team season, a 10-team league, and a great regular season. And now we will have the postseason. So as I mentioned, here is how we look as far as the postseason goes. Arizona, Iowa, they get a bye. First matchup that we will have will be Saturday, and that is the 22nd, and that will be the Nebraska Danger on the road against the Green Bay Blizzard. These two teams, no strangers to each other. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be probably punch-for-punch, a slugfest. It's going to be great football, though, nonetheless. And then Sunday, early kickoff, and I'll have all of the details for you Thursday when we do our preview episode, but that is going to be the Tucson Sugar Skulls going into Sioux Falls to take on the Storm. So the question that I asked at the top of the episode was which one of these four teams, okay, not which one of the six, which one of these first four teams looks the most postseason ready, the ones that could do the most damage going into this postseason if everything is clicking right for them? Is it Tucson after their big win at home to get into the playoffs as an expansion team? Is it Sioux Falls, who had a big win at home and now they're making some big moves as far as signings and transactions goes? Is it Green Bay, who shut out an opponent in really what was a meaningless game for them because their postseason fate had already been decided? But clearly you want to go into the postseason knowing that you will play that first round in the best shape that you can be, and I believe that they did that. Or is it going to be Nebraska, who got the upset of the weekend over Iowa? Kind of a meaningless game for Iowa, but still, the way that they competed, it did not lead you to believe that they felt it was meaningless, and I don't think there's any meaningless games, really, in the sport of football. So all four teams that will play this first round, they all won in the last week of the regular season. So I don't know if anyone really has the edge. Maybe the home teams do, Sioux Falls and Green Bay. But Nebraska's a dangerous team, and now Tucson, a very dangerous team. We will hear from quarterback, well, of that game anyway, Matt Behrendt. He talks about the big win at home. He started the season for them as their quarterback, getting a win in that first game, and now he has finished the regular season as their quarterback, again, getting a big win. But I believe Medlock will be back under center for the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Let's see here. Players of the week, congratulations. We had special teams, outstanding special teams player of the week, which was the first time we've ever had a two-time outstanding special teams player of the week, and that was William Gibbs of the Bismarck Bucks. He had over 100 return yards, I believe 138 return yards, and one kick return for a touchdown, so another great performance by him, and congratulations to being the last outstanding special teams winner of the regular season anyway. And then on defense, Silverberry Muhan of Green Bay. He was a big part of that shutout performance for the Blizzard. He had 5 tackles, a sack, a tackle for a loss, and then he had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And then finally, your outstanding offensive player of the week was Tucson Sugar Skulls' own Mike Jones, and he had a great performance, 116 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and an 8.5 average per rush. So that was a big factor in their win, and congratulations to those guys. Also, Spokane Wolfpack got a big win over the Tri-Cities Rage, and that was 41-14. Started out pretty slow, but then the defense stepped up and made a lot of big plays. Congratulations to their players of the game, and that is Brian Spiller, Terrence Duke, and Dariel Patton. There we go. I always forget how to pronounce his first name, but yes, it is Dariel Patton. Let's see. Merger rumors. I know you guys love this. They're not merging. The rumor that I have heard is that there are 4 teams in the NAL that are coming over to the IFL. The 4th one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but right now the names in that mix are the Carolina Cobras, the Jacksonville Sharks, the Orlando Predators, and the New York Streets. I don't know how they're going to pull this off with travel, since Arizona wouldn't travel beyond Sioux Falls. I mean, they traveled to Cedar Rapids once, but if there's travel cost issues getting in the way of the way that the league is structured now, and they're trying to expand to Oakland, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, San Diego was a terrible experiment, and I believe they're coming back next year. But what Tucson did, like if you're looking to expand a league, you need to look at how Tucson was able to be successful and just replicate that. I don't care if it's copycat from head to toe. You need to do what they did because they did it right. San Diego is an example of how you expand a league wrong. Tucson is an example of how you expand a league right. So do that. Or you can try to revive franchises that have since ceased operations and have a very passionate fan base that would love for a team to come back. And you have those in Billings, Spokane, even Utah, Colorado, which iffy, but Oakland, it doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like we're trying to force indoor football in markets that just don't want them. I mean, you're going to take away the Raiders and you expect to fill that void with an indoor football team. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Hello, Adam. Hello, Ashley. Hello, everyone. Good to see you guys. Antonio! Good to see you, my man. Yes, Fozzie was here. The fan show with 100% more Fozzie. Let's see here. Let's see. Alex says the game's going to be a lot of fun. Excited for it. Let's see. Adam says the NAL teams won't move to the IFL. Like you said, travel costs would kill them. That's the thing about these merger talks is it can look great on paper, but essentially, who's signing the checks and will they bounce or not? That's what every expansion comes down to. Now, for this whole merger talk and whatever, if teams are coming over, if you knew what I knew before the NAL season started, this is not a good look for the parties at hand of the NAL, because there was a few different ways that this was supposed to go, and for there to be merger talks about them bringing teams over to the IFL, I don't know what's going on with that league. I don't. Things have been very hush lately. There hasn't been a whole lot of talk. Jacksonville got a win over Carolina. So I don't know what really is happening. I don't know where this merger rumor came from. Apparently the source was that it said it was because Rob Storm was in Phoenix. I mean, it's not unheard of for owners to visit other teams. But yeah, I guess business is business. So from what I've heard, 4 teams from the NAL potentially joining the IFL. But travel costs and logistics, things like that, finances, I don't know how they make it work. But maybe that's why they're owners and I'm just a media guy. Who knows? But let's see. So we'll go back to the question. Which team do you think is going to make the most noise in the postseason as far as the teams that are playing this weekend? So you have Nebraska and Green Bay. And then, of course, you have the Tucson Sugar Skulls and the Sioux Falls Storm, who are making a lot of roster moves and signings. I guess Thursday's transaction page will be the big day in regards to how this will all shake out. And I think there's a few on there that are a bit head-scratchers. One that I feel maybe not so fair to other members of the team, but I guess we'll wait and see which ones actually come through and are made official when that foot drops. Let's see. Antonio says Tucson. And, I'll give you that. I think their win over the Steam Wheelers was a convincing one. But if there's one thing that drives me nuts about this league, and I've had a lot of criticism and some gripes about the IFL and details, but in all honesty, I mean, if you pay the players more, and if you have the same quality of turf and quality of equipment for every team, you would resolve so many issues. You really would, because people are willing, especially fans, they're willing to overlook a lot of things, like maybe, their uniforms don't look so great, or maybe it's not as packed as they'd like it to be, or maybe the broadcast quality isn't all that great. But if you have the ability to replay, but your equipment isn't working to do a replay, that's a black mark on the league, because every team should get the same equipment. And I thought I heard somewhere that they did, but you got to make sure that stuff works. Quality of turf should be the same for every team. That shouldn't be an incentive to play one place over the other. You got to have the same quality of turf that's not going to break ankles or tear ACLs, from Green Bay to San Diego to Iowa. It needs to all be the same. And it's left up to the owners and to the teams, and I don't feel like that's fair. But, again, that's just me. So I think that when it comes to Tucson and them making this postseason push, there were a few things that went wrong in that game, but otherwise they did have a very good performance, both offensively and defensively. You guys will hear from Matt Behrendt himself when he comes on to talk about their big must-win situation at home, especially finding out, before that game that Nebraska had upset Iowa and that they needed to win in order to get in. Like, it's not, we could both get in. No, they had to. They had to win that one. And now Jake Medlock will return to his starting quarterback role, and they will take on the Sioux Falls Storm. Let's see here. Adam says, I think Sioux Falls might make the most noise with the roster moves. The roster moves look great. But this late in the season, can you really expect them to have the immediate impact that you want? I mean, these moves make it seem like they already expect a win over Tucson, and that this is for the conference championship and maybe the United Bowl. But you have to get to both of those spots first, and it just seems, I don't want to say desperate, because I don't think that's the right term to use, because Riggs makes a lot of calculated moves. He really does. He is a chess player of a coach. In a game of checkers, he plays chess. And he's done that very well over the years. Just come up short in the last 2 United Bowls. But he's a very decorated coach, a very smart coach. Probably one of the best in the world of indoor football, arena or otherwise. So I don't think it's desperate moves. It's just interesting moves, if that makes sense at all. Adam says, who do I think has made the real impact with their roster moves? All Elite Wrestling. Yes, in fact, that was part of my headlines. In wrestling, the All Elites All Out sold out, and that was done in 15 minutes. So their big pay-per-view in Chicago, Illinois, where they will crown their first champion, their first heavyweight champion, it sold out in 15 minutes. I knew it was going to sell out fast. That wasn't a question to me. They're definitely doing things the right way. They're the Tucson Sugar Skulls of the wrestling world. They're doing their own thing, and they're doing it right. Where Impact and whatever, they're San Diego. They're not doing things right now. But It is what it is. I'm sorry. That's a bad analogy for those of you that don't follow wrestling. In music, Motion City Soundtrack is coming out of their farewell, and they're going to play the Don't Call It a Comeback tour. Tickets went on sale today. They're going everywhere from Minneapolis to Seattle to Portland to Florida. So if you're a fan of Motion City Soundtrack, and you should be, you should check out one of those stops. BattleBots had another great episode. Mammoth got their first win ever as a bot team. In fact, we will talk to Ricky Willems tomorrow night on our next BattleBots special edition. And then Whiplash got a big win over Minotaur. Texas Twister got a win, and Witch Doctor got their first wins of the season. So things are up and rolling in the world of combat robotics, doing pretty good. And The Rock won the Generation Award, or received. It's not where there's nominees and you win it. He was the recipient of the MTV Generation Award. He had a great speech. So did Sandra Bullock. She's very underrated, but her speech was fantastic. And let's see here. We didn't talk about this at all last week, but I got to because it came up again in my newsfeed. But Justin Bieber called out Tom Cruise, and I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what is happening in the world. But apparently, the new social media game is that you take the year that you were born and you subtract, 31? That's how many years Justin Bieber and Tom Cruise are apart. And you look up which actors were born that day and you call them out on social media. So I need to compose a tweet here after the show calling out either Bruce Willis or Rowan Atkinson, a.k.a. Mr. Bean. I haven't decided which one. Maybe a triple threat. I think that would be a lot of fun to face those two. But yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Bean. Yeah, that could be the catchphrase for that pay-per-view poster. But I don't know if you guys have done this. Who's the celebrity that you're supposed to call out on social media? I think William Dafoe was another one that I could choose from. The year was 1955, and there was a lot of really good actors that were born that year, come to find out. But, yeah, Justin Bieber, Tom Cruise. Interesting stuff. Today's word is interesting. And as you can see, Fozzie is less than interested back there over my shoulder. He's a sleepy kitty. Adam says, Motorsports headline. He got back into victory lane. Congratulations, Adam, to you and your team. And yes, he thinks me versus Rowan Atkinson at All Out would be great. I'd probably be laughing too hard. Josh is joining us. He says, Dana White is willing to make it happen. Stop it, Dana. The things that man will do for a buck. Like, whether it's pimping out Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, whether it's making an ass of himself about this athlete or that athlete, or refusing to do anything about Conor McGregor. I mean, the things that man will do for publicity and a buck is beyond me. But that's Dana White and UFC. Antonio says Mr. Bean is a safe bet. Hey, I don't need a safe bet in the octagon, all right? Bruce Willis and his string of really bad movie roles lately, I think, gives me the edge. Because I'm accepting this fight, and he won't be able to stay away from it because to him it looks like another terrible movie role. So, hey, edge me. I will take on an old man. I'm not afraid to. Especially Bruce Willis, who we all know he's an American treasure. He's a national treasure. But his recent, movie decisions. Okay, maybe not Mr. Glass, which I haven't seen yet. But there's been a few in there that you were like, actors always say, well, when I read the script, I loved it. Did you? Did you really? Because I don't think that you did. Let's see. Anything else from you guys to me? Let's look one more time through the comment section here. Let's see. I saw Ashley was watching. So, yeah, these merger rumors, man, it is that time of year. But if it's true that they're not merging, I think it's just teams coming over from one to the other, which we still have yet to hear who from the CIF is going to make that leap, which I would hope Omaha would. But under one condition, Omaha, you guys have got to just burn your uniforms and get new ones. Can't be having that in the IFL. I'm sorry, but those Omaha Beef uniforms, they are they're not my favorite. So Omaha, I think Salina maybe was another one in the mix. Duke City, I guess their owner said that they're either or Sioux City, the Bandits said it's either CIF or they fold. Well, you're probably going to fold then if that's the case, because the league is about to call your bluff. And what kind of stance is that? Really, what kind of stance is that if you're the owner of Sioux City? Oh, they're either going to be in this league or we're going to fold. We're not going to have any part of those IFL shenanigans. No, we will not. What shenanigans? They're doing better than any of the other indoor leagues right now, and these merger talks are very evident of that fact. So maybe swallow the pride and do that thing that people do when they get in a pinch, and that's I tried. Let's see. Adam says he just looked up the 31-year-olds for him, and he needs to call out John Travolta, Oprah Winfrey, or Matt Groening. Travolta, man. You two could have a face-off. Sorry, that was really bad. Adam could face off with John Travolta. And I'm going to say for me right now, if I had to look at these four teams and who is poised to make the most noise going into this postseason, everybody starting out level. I mean, Green Bay really had a dominant performance. It was against the River Kings, but still, it was a game that I feel was kind of dress rehearsal for the postseason, and they made the most of it. So Green Bay and Nebraska, and those two teams happen to be facing off against each other. I think Nebraska and the addition of Mike Tatum is a huge one. He had a great game against Iowa. But if I'm Arizona and Iowa, there's none of those four teams that I would rather play over the other. I wouldn't. I think all four of those teams, and yes, I gave Tucson some criticism earlier on in the season saying I didn't know if they deserved to be in the playoffs. I believe that all six teams that have made the playoffs deserve to be there. Plain and simple. So congratulations once again to all six teams, and good luck to the four that play each other this weekend. That's going to be a really good weekend. Let's see here. Adam also says face off. Bruce Willis would take it out on me, Antonio says. I don't believe you. Okay, so that should do it for the first part of this episode. We're doing pretty good on time. Thursday opening segments always tend to go a little bit longer just because we're recapping and we're catching up. I will say this. There was a moment from the parade or the celebration for the Raptors that I didn't quite understand, and that was Kawhi's laugh. His ha, like I don't get it, but maybe that's above my pay grade. I don't know. I don't understand it. But congratulations to the Rattlers, to the Blues. We had two Never Have I Ever first-time champions crowned within 24 hours of each other. Will we have in the Indoor Football League a first-time Never Have I Ever champion crowned this year? And I guess who would that be? Obviously, Tucson, it could be. They could finish their expansion season with a trophy. How crazy would that be? Antonio says, what a shock would it be if by some miracle AZ and Iowa didn't win? That's the thing, man. Look, there was several episodes ago on a show that somebody from the Rattlers was talking about, what I thought of them in their season. And like I said, their regular season's been great. And then obviously they finished off undefeated. But when it comes to that postseason, man, like it's almost irrelevant what you did in the regular season because all it takes is that one game and you're done. This is not a best of 7 series. This isn't even a best of 3. It's 1 and you move on, or 1 and you are done. So for Arizona and for Iowa, yeah, they have one game less to worry about in their postseason hopes and aspirations. But in order to get to that championship game, they have to make sure that it's a day that everything's going right for them, because we all know that for some teams, there's a day that everything can go wrong for them. And that's what you got to worry about, plain and simple. So I think starting out, yes, the road is tougher to the championship for the 4 teams playing this weekend because that's another game that you have to worry about injury, guys, making dumb mental mistakes, penalties, whatever, equipment not working. You can't do replays, scheduling conflicts, whatever. The fans couldn't get the time off in time to get there because it wasn't enough notice or whatever. It's little things that they have to worry about that Arizona and Iowa don't. But at the same time, they're all pretty much on a level playing field as far as I'm concerned. I think any one of these 6 teams could conceivably win the championship. And if Tucson won, if Nebraska won, I don't think anybody would be surprised about that. Adam says last year semifinals and Arizona. That's right, 69-68 in overtime. Sioux Falls over the Rattlers, which I believe is how this one would play out. The graphic that Nebraska posted is great, but it's not accurate. If they do NFL rule, which is they reseed dependent on who wins and who advances, then I believe Arizona would play Green Bay or Nebraska, and Iowa could play either Sioux Falls or Green Bay or Nebraska, and Arizona could play Tucson. Because it's, Arizona is going to get the lowest seed of the teams that wins and advances, and Iowa is going to get the highest seed of the teams that win and advance. Antonio says Green Bay versus Tucson is his sexy pick. That's not even a sexy pick. That's a bold prediction, sir. And Adam says Cedar Rapids versus San Diego in the Tank Bowl. They don't get another one. So thank you, guys. We're going to go ahead and kick it over to Spreaker.com now for my conversation with Matt Behrendt. Let's see. Terrence Borda says AZ would play the lowest seed after this weekend. Exactly. Just what I said. Arizona would play the lowest seed of the teams that win and advance. Iowa would play the highest seed of the teams that win and advance. So I don't think that graphic is 100% accurate. I think it's under the assumption that a certain team would win from each one. But either way, it's a good graphic as far as visually seeing like who's still in the picture and where they stand. But it could be very different once we see the outcome of this weekend. So thank you guys again for tuning into the first portion of this episode. We even went a few minutes over, but that's good. That's good. It was fun and entertaining. So here we go with my conversation with Mr. Matt Behrendt of the Tucson Sugar Skulls, the now playoff-bound Tucson Sugar Skulls. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now is the postseason-bound Matt Behrendt of the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Mr. Behrendt, Matty Ice, how you doing, man?
I'm doing real good, boss. How you doing?
Doing great. Like I said, when you and I first talked, a little bittersweet. The regular season has come to an end, but it was a great way to go out. We didn't get this last year, and I don't really recall the last time we had a win and you're in scenario like we did from you guys in Quad City. In fact, it really turned up the pressure when Nebraska upset Iowa to punch their ticket. So you guys had to win.
Yeah, that was it's real exciting, especially for the league to have that winner go home game. That's exciting. So there's a lot of pressure on both teams. So yeah, that's fun to see. It was definitely a good way to go out.
So let me ask you then, because I've known you for a while now, and of course Tucson being an expansion team under the ownership of Kevin Guy, and you guys had a lot of key components to your success, such as defensive starters from last year's championship Iowa team, including your head coach, Mr. Coleman. But what's this season been like for you specifically? Because I got to say, outside looking in, it looks like it's been quite the roller coaster.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty much the best way to describe it. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a crazy year for me, especially. It's been a little different. I've been able to take a role that I haven't really had to take ever in my life, being like the backup quarterback or the guy who comes in whenever is needed. So it's been a little different, but it's also been a great, learning experience. It's been a great time down here. Fortunately for me, I have a great relationship with the other quarterback, me and Jake Medlock. We just play the game together. We both love playing the game. And that helps a lot to have a great relationship with him in that aspect. So it's been a great year though. Very exciting. And like I said, I've learned a lot about myself, especially just taking this new role. And it's been a little different.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when this season, before this season started, there was 3 quarterbacks in Tucson, all of which have been starters somewhere else. You had Brian Hicks, you had you had Jake Medlock, and then it came down to you and Medlock. You actually started, and then there was kind of this trading off of roles of starting quarterbacks for a while. And then now, here we have the last game of the regular season. it's a must-win game. Like we're not talking about a formality which the quarterback, who's the backup, comes in and just plays the game as best they can in case the injury for the starter happens to be a little longer. Like, you had to come in and lead this team to victory. Like, what was that game like for you as far as knowing that you were going to be the starter and going in there and getting this win and not knowing what your future is going to hold as far as the postseason?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. It was a pretty great feeling. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, I prepare, every week and every single day of practice, just as if I was the starter, because especially these last couple of weeks, with Jake being a little hurt, I've definitely got some action at ends of games. So I'm definitely used to it. And then, when Coach called my name, I was ready. I was ready to go. It's moments like that you live for, especially as a quarterback. I mean, to come in for a win or go home game, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun, especially if you're a competitor like me. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was, like I said, one of those very interesting situations where, for me personally, I hear that you're getting the start because Medlock's hurt, and I don't panic or anything. I'm just like, Matt gives them just as good a chance to win as Jake did, because you had several victories under your belt for this squad in their first season as well. So I don't know how confident the rest of the fans were in you, but I got to say, there's a lot worse situations a team could be in, because there's some teams that don't even have like a well-trained true backup quarterback on their roster, and here in Tucson, you guys have like pretty much two starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy situation to be in. Yeah, me and Jake joke about that all the time. So we have both starters on the team. It's great. It's hilarious to have that. But at the same time, it's awesome. We push each other every day at practice, and make each other better. And you could tell in the games. It's been a lot of fun this year.
So what is the word on Mr. Medlock? Will he be game time ready for this weekend's big first-round playoff matchup for you guys?
Oh, yeah, he'll be ready. Like I said, he's been back practicing this week, so we'll be ready to go. Who knows what happens? We never really know until about game time. Because like I said, me and Jake, we're the same guy. We're preparing like each one of us is a starter, no matter what. We're both going to prepare the same way, so we'll both be ready, which is a great thing. Great thing to have, two quarterbacks ready to go, especially in the playoffs.
So you got this team's first win as a franchise in their season opener, and now you've gotten their last regular season win as a starter to get them to the playoffs. But the in-between has been crazy. It's been a roller coaster. Where does this season, Absolutely. Like in your experience in indoor, like rank as far as highs, lows, moments like that,
Yeah, like I said, it's been a crazy year for me. Like I guess it's been totally different situation. Obviously, back when I was in Green Bay, I was pretty much the guy there. Just didn't have to worry about anything else. Quarterback there. We weren't. That's the even better part this year. Making the playoffs, being the first time in the playoffs for me in this league is huge. Obviously, because that's the goal. The goal is to win the championship. So we're one step ahead of that. So that's good. Yeah. So like I said, I was in Green Bay. I was kind of the guy playing a different role than I have today. Than I have been playing this year. Of course, we didn't have the most success, and so to be able to make the playoffs this year, that's huge.
Yeah, and you guys did it your inaugural season as an expansion team. And it's funny because, there was an article I just saw that came out yesterday or today that said Cinderella Tucson had postseason dreams the whole, or postseason plans were in their plans the whole time, something along those lines. And I had to chuckle at it because every coach or player I've talked to that's been part of an expansion team, I asked them, what's the goal for you guys? And they always say without hesitation, a postseason and a championship. Like that, you don't come in just to play really, really well. Like you want to get to the end of the race like that. So I kind of laughed at that because I know that that's probably something that you would say as well, is that, this was part of your plans the whole time as a quarterback for an expansion team.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, not only me. I mean, the coaches, everybody, the whole team. We've been talking about that all. Go out and win a championship. We know we have the players, the coaches, Even being the expansion team, how crazy that sounds. We did have a lot of confidence even at the beginning of the year. So, like you said, it's big time.
So now you guys are in the playoffs. You will play round 1 on the road against the Sioux Falls Storm. Yep. What has been the mood like? Because this is, it's bittersweet for me because the regular season's coming to an end, and then once a champion is crowned, it's going to get kind of slow here for the fan show. But for you guys, you have this huge win over a tough opponent where both of you guys are trying to get that last playoff spot. You're at home in the regular season finale, and now you guys have to go on the road a week later to face Sioux Falls. Like, what did you guys have any time to celebrate this win at all?
Oh, we definitely celebrated. Absolutely. It was exciting. Like I said, win or go home game. There was definitely a lot of excitement in the air after the game. But as usual, it's back to business. We were already back at it yesterday, going back to work. Cause like I said, we're in the playoffs now, the second season, and, we're playing a Sioux Falls team that we haven't seen all year. So it's going to be a little more game planning.
What's that like preparing for an opponent that you haven't faced all season?
It's definitely different because obviously in this league you play teams, or the teams that you do play, you usually play them about 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
So teams, you start getting used to what teams, the tendencies of teams, and stuff like that. So to face a new team, it definitely does take a little more extra film work, a little more on the drawing board, extra more time at the facility with the coaches and everything, getting used to it. But, at this time of the year, that's what you expect to, playing anybody. So it's just a little more extra things, the little things. Just got to work on the little things.
How's the demeanor of your guys' coach, Mr. Coleman? Because this is his first time as a head coach, and he's with an expansion team, and now you guys are postseason bound. How's he been taking everything?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been the leader all year. Guys respect the hell out of him. He's been getting our troops together. I mean, you can tell each and every week, the team is just, slowly coming together, and just switching the little things up or taking care of the little things. So he's been awesome. I respect him. Everybody respects him. So like I said, he's been doing a hell of a job, especially for his first year and expansion team as a head coach. That's pretty awesome for him to do that.
Yeah, your guys' defense has gotten a lot of praise, but one thing I've noticed is the offensive weapons that you guys have there, from Shaq Currington to downtown Rico Brown, and my outstanding offensive player of the week, Mr. Mike Jones, who had a stellar performance against the Steamwheelers. What's it like having toys like that on the offense as a quarterback?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's awesome. It makes my job easy. It makes me look good, all that, to have weapons like that. I mean, it's all, and, we're really starting to see them gem together too. All 3 of our receivers, Rico, Shaq, and then even little Jeremiah, they've been doing great jobs, complimenting each other, helping each other out. They're starting to really figure out, what they need to do to get themselves open, to help each other out. And then, of course, Mike Jones, he's just been a beast all year. You pretty much can't say much about him. He just goes out there and does his thing, which is awesome to see. And then on top of that, to have the offensive line that we have, are you kidding me? I mean, it's crazy. It's been a lot of fun this year. Even with the rotation, even with the injuries that we've had at the offensive line, it's just, we've had other guys step in and step up, and they've just done a fantastic job this whole year. So it's a lot of toys, a lot of protection. That's a lot of fun for quarterbacks. That's a good time.
Absolutely, man. Well, you guys were well assembled, a very well put together team for your guys' first outing. So for those that wrote you guys off early or said that your schedule was too easy or something, obviously you guys, when the moment was there, you seized it, and you got your postseason ticket punched, and now you're going to go on the road, play a very tough league vets, that are no stranger to the postseason in Sioux Falls. So it'll be a true test, but I think really a rite of passage for you guys as a expansion team to go and be on the road and play Sioux Falls your guys' first time in the postseason. So it should be a good matchup, though, for sure. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. It does sound like a great matchup. It should be a lot of fun. Obviously, us just slipping in, being the 6th seed, we expect to go on the road, and we're excited about it. We're excited for the challenge. Like you said, it's a great opportunity for us as an expansion team and first team to go in there and really show us what we got and show them what we're made of. We're excited. We're excited to show everybody what we're all about.
And I'm very excited to see how this first round plays out. A couple of really great matchups that we're going to see, especially Nebraska and Green Bay, and that's going to be a slugfest too. But hey, man,
absolutely,
congratulations on a great year. I know it's been a roller coaster of a ride for you, but for you to roll with the punches like you have, and to still be as upbeat and enthusiastic as you are, and to come in the clutch like that, it really speaks volumes to your character. And it was exciting to watch, you out there in the games that you played, and to start this season and finish it the same way with a W.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, or like you said, it's been a roller coaster year, but it's been an awesome year. Really at this time of year, we're just getting started with this second season, this playoff run. We're just getting started, so we're just going to keep coming together as a team, and I'm really excited to get this playoff run going. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, well, he is Matt Behrendt of the playoff-bound Tucson Sugar Skulls, who will take on the Sioux Falls Storm. That is Sunday, and that kickoff is early. That's a 3 o'clock local time one. But, hey, good luck to you and the rest of the guys. Like I said, been a great inaugural season for you, and I look forward to seeing what you guys can do in the postseason, man. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I always love talking football with you, my man.
All right, you take care.
All right, bye.
And one more big thank you to Matt Behrendt for spending some time with me here on the Fan Show. I know that this is Medlock's team to lead into the postseason right now and possibly beyond. But Matt, for him to come in the way that he did into that game, and like I said in the interview, there's a lot of scenarios where your star running back, your star quarterback, your star linebacker, they go down, and you're like, well, there goes our season. At least for the Tucson Sugar Skulls, that was not the case at the position of quarterback, because they've both had their fair share of reps this season. And when I heard that Matt Behrendt was going to be the starter for Tucson in that last game, I wasn't worried for him. I wasn't. I said, this is business as usual for Matty Ice. And I think he performed very well. Obviously, he got them the win, and they're in. And we will have our postseason, and that is going to do it for the Tuesday edition. I don't want to spoil too much, because Thursday we're going to have a lot to talk about, including transactions that hopefully have hit the transactions page for the IFL website. And we're going to look at these matchups very much in depth, including a preview of the rest of the action for the weekend. We've got some AFL matchups, some NAL matchups, and we'll see if we can get any more clarification on these merger rumors. But I do want to thank you all for tuning in this evening. It was a great time. Thank you for Matt. Thank you for all of you that tuned in on the Facebook Live. As I've mentioned numerous times, for those of you that are first-time listeners, you can participate and you can watch the first portion of every episode Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Facebook. Facebook.com/fanshowofficial. We do the first part of the episode live so that you guys can interact as we do the headlines segment of the show, which are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. And the show as a whole, it's proudly partnered by Undisputed Belts. You see me in the belt. We travel around during the Fan Show tour. We crown a player of the game, and they get the privilege, really, of interviewing with me, sporting the belt for a little while. We do a photo op, and it's a great time. So thank you, Undisputed Belts, for providing that and providing those moments, those memories for us here at the Fan Show and everybody involved, from cosplayers to athletes to even fishermen. Brian Klum and I, we had a little fun, friendly bet last year of Klum Dog Outdoors. So it's just great to have. It's really been a staple of the show. And if you guys can't watch live, if you can't listen live, because we do broadcast live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from Spreaker.com, then I encourage you to go download, and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. That way you never miss a beat. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of content that comes through depending on the month, depending on the week, really. If you're not a fan of BattleBots, just skip those episodes. But still, subscribe and never miss out on any of the Fan Show Show action, because everyone's a fan of something, and we have something for every single fan. Follow us on social media, Twitter at Fan Show Official, Instagram, The Fan Show. That's where we post the majority of our content. You'll always be in the loop if you're following one of those, and of course, if you like us on Facebook. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and it's not official unless it's Fan Show Official. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.